Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I have planned another talk for today. It will be a short talk again, and it's about a very important topic. I have not mentioned this in my other talks so far. In the past, I have been quite busy investigating into what is called jhana meditations, Brahma Vihara meditations, experiencing the Arupa states. And on that path, one experiences what is called the still mind and the signless state. So in particular in Theravada Buddhism, there's a very important term, the signless state, when the mind chooses to not identify or stick to signs again. So you are entering a state or a stage which is called the signless state. Okay, what is the signless state? Like in Theravada Buddhism, there's a really good book of Bhikkhu Analayo. Okay, so I would highly recommend to read that. Otherwise, there's certain talks of Delson Armstrong where he also mentions the signless state. In general, we'll leave this to the monastics. They probably can explain it better. It's a stage when you have been in the still mind for a long time. So you have experienced months, if not years, of meditation, and you get into, after hours of meditation, you get into this state of not identifying with being the observer. This is something which we could consider this the pre-step to Nibbāna, to cessation, and then to experiencing Nirvana or Nibbāna in Old Pali language. Now, what is really interesting in this regards, and that will be very interesting for all the Christian practitioners here, I have come across the same term in the handbook for the manual for Theosis. Okay, so interestingly enough, in Christianity, the oldest monasteries are the Orthodox monasteries. They date back till the 5th century, 500 AD. Like there's one monastery in Egypt, and there's quite a few in Greece and in other countries. And in these practices, the monks talk about watchfulness, stillness, and signlessness. The signless condition, it is called. Okay. Now let me read something. This is from the manual of Theosis, or for Theosis, manual for Theosis, I think. When stillness arises, together with watchfulness, the mind is both calm and clear. This means the mind is quiet and free of conceptualization, at least to a significant degree. Watchfulness of the mind, free of thought, is the mind's reversal of attention, its inward return to itself, which is to say mind watching mind. Awareness of awareness. Okay. Stillness is the mind resting in the simplicity of one's own being. In theological terms, this is the practice of apophatism. Apologies, that's a Christian Orthodox term. Practically speaking, apophatism means being released into the signless. Verbal, emotional, and sensory signs, which are the web of sign relations that frame the world of internal and external perception. By entering into a signless awareness, perception ceases being bound by conceptualization and so becomes introspection and inner vision. Introspection does not mean either thinking about, mentally reviewing, or internally rehearsing memories and emotions. It's not psychological introspection. Psychological introspection is distinct from what is better called ontological introspection. By entering into the signless, one enters into the presence of simple being and there finds a natural and real peace. This peace is itself the gateway to a supernatural peace that cannot be reached by any effort of the mind to generate alone. By entering into silence, one has simply been presenting oneself in personal willfulness, for one has offered up their personal self to God as a living sacrifice. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Now that is a short excerpt of a manual of Theosis. So I find it very interesting. in short, that our brothers, our Orthodox Christian brothers, have defined the Signless State, in my personal opinion at least, better than our Buddhist brothers. It's a perfect description. It means letting go of the self, of self-conceptualization, and of identifying with the observer. Okay, this is a very interesting state, and I intend to write a book about it, or at least the script. We'll see how far I get with this, because it's a very difficult topic. It's a very specific topic, which usually is only touched by the very few and by not so much by lay people, but monks and priests. Okay, so I would invite you to read the manual of Theosis, in particular if you're a Buddhist practitioner. And I would definitely invite you to study Buddhist practice if you're a Christian practitioner, because, and this may freak you out, it's one and the same. The terminology might be very different. The conceptual knowledge about Buddhism or Christianity could not be more different. But the practice and the final goal, the state of Theosis or Nibbāna, is one and the same state. So I've been battling with this for quite a while. Should I do Buddhist practice? Should I do Western practice, Christian practice, Taoist practice? Should I do Vedic meditations? Now, I wanted to invite you to study Advaita Vedanta, Vedic meditation, and compare it, reading a little bit between the lines, with the Buddhist concept of anatta, no self, non-self, and Nibbāna. The one thing you will realize is that all these four traditions, even Taoism, sitting in oblivion, becoming immortal. Compare this to neither being nor non-being, the deathless state. The immortal state, the deathless state, the kingdom of heaven, the Theosis, or Nibbāna, when you really go deep into yourself, if you practice all these traditions, which I have done, there can be no doubt that all these traditions talk about the one and same goal. So you're getting through four jhanas to the four rupa states, you're reaching a still mind, signless mind, and Nibbāna, which is when finally this big relief comes after you've experienced cessation, or if you want Theosis. So I will leave it so far at this point. I want to make all the followers of my channel aware, just in theory, consider that Buddhism, Christianity, Taoism, Hinduism has the same goal in mind. All the samadhis, all this theosis, all this Nibbāna, nirvana in the Chan Buddhist script, in Sanskrit. Nibbāna is an old Pali word. Nirvana is meaning the same, but it's Sanskrit. Okay, Theosis is a term where you get invited to be watchful, do ceaseless prayer, do experience watchfulness of the body, the breath, and the mind. Get through this practice gradually into still mind, signless mind, and Theosis. In Zen Buddhism, it's posture, breathing, stillness. It's exactly the same. I hope you enjoyed this little talk. Leave constructive criticism in the comments. I'm always interested in people criticizing if I have done something wrong in your opinion. If I have said something which you disagree with, please leave it in the comments. Have a wonderful day, and see and hear from you soon.